Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Bald Man Building an Airplane channel. This is pretty much the last of section 35, video number 10, and we're finishing up the removable avionics shelf that I decided to put together to hold the vertical power box, the SDS, ECUs, ECMs, engine control modules, engine control computer unit. I don't know. I'll call them ECM, engine control electronic engine control module, whatever. Anyway, this is the sort of whole thing that's going to sit behind the sub panel, or rather behind from the pilot's view and the co-pilot's view, but in front of technically as far as the airplane is concerned. So it's going to sit forward of the sub panel. If I do end up putting the access panels into the forward top skin, which I likely will, this will be directly below those. I've also taken the time to mount my grounding like setup to that for all the wires that I'll be running to the VPX. And now that I think about it, maybe that wasn't the best idea. Maybe I should move those to, because if I pull that out, then I gotta individually disconnect all the grounds. But then where are the grounds going to go if they're not going to connect to this? Well, anyway. Yeah, I've added some power and ground position things on there, so that way I have a place for all the power that's not going through the VPX to be sourced. And it's not shown in this video, but later on I did actually add a fuse block underneath it as well. So most of the stuff that's not going through the VPX will just get routed down from this shelf, and from there it'll go into the fuse block that's beneath there and then out toward somewhere else in the plane. So far there's like 2 or 3 items on the fuse block. It's going to be the beacon, the USB power, and the seat fans, because I'm getting a interior with seat fans, because that's going to be nice. This is really not precision work. It's just a lot of little lining stuff up, drilling holes, and making sure it works. Attaching nut plates, this and that and the other. It's like, okay, well, this won't fit here, but then if I do that, how is it going to interfere with this other thing over there? And if it interferes with this other thing over there, can the connector still come out of this other thing over there? So laying all this out is actually kind of an exercise. I think I drilled holes once for one of those, and I was like, it's not going to work there. I need to move it this other way, because otherwise I can't get the connectors on and off, or the connectors are going to hit the firewall or whatever. So there was quite a bit of that, like mental mapping it out as I was putting it together to say, all right, these things can go here, those things can't, which is pretty cool. It was a fun exercise. The SDS ECM he calls them ECUs. So those sit in a sort of raised position, because I was going to plan to route some wires underneath them, or be able to route wires underneath of it. And then there's the injector relays that are going to sit on top of it. I had them sitting next to it on this initial configuration, but I later decided to make a shelf that goes over top of the ECUs to hold those injector relays. So yeah, there's the GEA24 and the GAD29 on the bottom. Not much to those, a couple of connectors each, and there's the VPX box, and here comes the SDS box. So thanks for joining me for this one. This wraps up section 35, and in the next one we're going to get on to not necessarily rigging, but push rods. See you then.